What is going on YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this being my Thursday night, 8 p.m. live hot topics and social commentary show. We got a lot of stuff to get to, y'all. So I'm so glad that you guys have decided to join me for the 8 o'clock hour of the evening this Thursday, November 20th. First of all, I have to say a big shout out to Kevin from the Scorpion Show. Today is his birthday. He is 41 years old. Kevin, I love you. I don't know if you'll see this or not, but I do love you with all of my heart. And I'm so glad that you have made it to 41 and you are living life and doing your thing. Brother, I love you with all of my heart. So shout out to Kevin from the Scorpion Show. Y'all subscribe to the Scorpion Show on YouTube. They always have great content and typically talk about hot topics just like I do. So go check them out. Couple things I want y'all to do before we get started. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press that big red subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. Takes less than a second to mash that thing. So why don't you go ahead and mash it for it, brother. Also, be sure to like this video. Let me know you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on my channel. So be sure to leave a thumbs up for my video. Also, be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the various topics that we'll be discussing on tonight. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And last but not least, be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. I got my sister Jennifer with me. Jennifer, I can't tell you how much I missed you doing your flight attendant hand gestures while I'm doing my spill. I love when you do that.
Oh, I'm happy to do it.
Absolutely. I see we have 2 comments in the comment section, so let's go ahead and get to them, Gert.
Dustin says hi.
Hey, Dustin. So glad you're here.
Welcome, Dustin. Nice to have you. And we also have Lifestyled by Miss Kim. She says, hey, Dustin and Jonathan. Hello, Miss Kim.
Miss Kim, thank you so much for being here. That sounds like a company name to me, honey. It sounds like you're manifesting something for yourself, honey, and I like that.
Absolutely. I love it. Lifestyled. She said, Miss Kim says, I used to watch the Scorpion Show. I didn't know they were still filming. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, they are still filming. I'm just going to tell a quick story about my introduction to the Scorpion Show. Back in 2009, I was looking for videos of people talking about the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna thing that happened at Grammy night. And I stumbled upon the Scorpion Show. And there are 2 gay guys. They're out and gay, so I'm not outing them. They're 2 gay guys from Philly. And before that, I had never seen gay men who were not completely flamboyant. And so when I saw those 2, I was like, oh, wait a minute. They're kind of like me. You know, they're a little bit masculine because I've never seen myself as a completely feminine or completely masculine. I've always seen myself as somewhere in the middle. But I saw them and they were like, wow, because I never really experienced masculinity on a gay man prior to that. And so I got really close to them. You know, they're the reason why I've been able to travel on my own in my early 20s. And, we cultivated a great relationship. And so, that's why I had to shout out. Today's Kevin's birthday. He's 41 today. So shout out to Kevin from the Scorpion Show. Jennifer, do you have anything you want to say about the Scorpion Show real quick before we get started?
I appreciate them, and especially Kevin, because he's such a great friend to Jonathan. Very supportive, very sweet, and we've garnered some really great times, really great parties because of them. But they have been great. That's around the time when Jonathan was really in their process. Jonathan was really in his process of finding who he is, and when he was able to find people like him, it actually assisted me in finding more avenues of understanding my brother. So, like that's around the same time we were getting into Funky Dineva and all of them. So Funky Dineva, the Scorpion Show, and that's pretty much the only 2 that I really delved into. But yeah, they helped me to learn Jonathan. Miss Kim says, hey Jen. Justice says, so glad you're doing better. So glad to be here with y'all tonight. Love y'all very much. Love you too, Dustin. And he says, you don't know how happy it makes me to see you get back to yourself. Oh. Let's see. Miss Kim says, I made it back home just in time. I felt a little better today, so I went shopping for more Kleenex ginger ale and new Christmas pajamas.
Awesome, Miss Kim. I might give me some Christmas pajamas, Miss Kim. You are making me want to go on Amazon right now.
Right now. And Miss Kim says, is Den still filming with them? I liked him.
I haven't seen Den film with them in a while. I'm sure Den and Kevin are still best friends. That's how I met Den. And when I tell you the love that I have for that man, like it's on another level. So yes, I love Den. Shout out to Den Jones, my favorite postal worker. Because that's
Okay.
my dad, of course. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were going to say something, Jennifer. All right. So let's get into these hot topics. So the first thing I wanted to get into is the fact that not only did the House pass the law to release the Epstein files, and it was almost unanimous. There was one no vote to not pass it. I don't know exactly who that representative was. Don't know. Don't care. Doesn't matter. Didn't affect.
He was Republican. That's what I do know.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And then it did pass in the Senate as well. I'm not sure exactly what the vote count was for that. I did not see that online. And the president has actually signed the bill to release the Epstein files. He signed it, I believe, earlier today, if I'm not mistaken. If not today, he did it yesterday. Now, the brother of Jeffrey Epstein, Mark Epstein, he was interviewed on one of those news channels, and he was saying that he feels as though when the Epstein files are released, it will be heavily redacted or revised, leaving out names. I'm not sure exactly what names they will be redacting or whatever the case might be for that. But the Trump administration is always saying that we are all about 100% transparency, which is a complete lie, because they've been everything but transparent since they started at the beginning of this year. But something came about in the emails last week. An email exchange between Mark Epstein and Steve Bannon, asking him if Putin had the picture of Trump blowing Bubba. And Bubba, what most people assumed was that Bubba was referring to our former president, Bill Clinton. And then Mark Epstein came out later on and said Bubba was not referring to Bill Clinton. He didn't specify who it was referring to. Here's my thing. Do I know whether that's true or not? I'm not sure. Would it surprise me? Absolutely not. We all know Bill Clinton, as my mama said, is for the streets. You know what I'm saying? Bill Clinton gonna get it any way he can. He don't care who it is. A mouth is a mouth. You know what I'm saying? And I told Jennifer, or either Jennifer or my mother, I can't remember who I told, but I don't believe that a man getting fellatio from another man makes him gay. Like, sexuality is all about your attraction, what you see from your eyes to another person. That tells whether you are attracted to the opposite or same sex or not. So I don't believe that if that did happen, I don't believe that would make Bill Clinton gay. But I was thinking that might be the reason why Trump did not want those files to be released. And also, I heard that Donald Trump's name is mentioned over 1,000 times in the Epstein files, while Trump is continuously trying to say that he did not have a close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. They were not the best of friends, as some would believe they were. I don't know what is going to come of these Epstein files being released. A lot of people are expecting for the Trump administration to be a little bit lackadaisical with the releasing of the Epstein files, but literally all eyes are on the Trump administration to see how fast they are going to actually put these files out. Now, Donald Trump did ask his attorney general to look into some Democrats that were connected to Jeffrey Epstein, and some people are thinking that that's going to cause a little bit of a delay with the release of the Epstein files. I'm not sure about the logistics of all of that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And right along with that, I know this is going on a little bit long, but Marjorie Taylor Greene has come out and somewhat of an opponent to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has decided to call her Marjorie Traitor Green. Now, I can't say, I'm so confused about Marjorie Taylor Greene right now because I was so against what she has said in the past, but now she's trying to act as if she's come to her senses all of a sudden. No, she knew what was right and what was wrong all along. She's just changed she just pivoted a little bit, and has changed her public views on certain things and things of that nature, possibly to garner a little bit of support from her constituents. I'm assuming that she's coming up for the re-election sometime within the next year or so. So I'm sure she's just trying to keep her seat. And a lot of her constituents are being very much affected by a lot of the things that Donald Trump has been doing. So I understand why she's doing what she's doing. I can give her credit for saying what needs to be said, because there are not a lot of Republicans that are saying what needs to be said at this point. A lot of them are still being very hush-hush about everything that's going on. So, Jennifer, what are your thoughts on the bill being passed to release the Epstein files? What are your expectations as far as that is concerned? And what are your thoughts on Marjorie Taylor Greene's seemingly change of, I guess, outlook on the president and the Republican Party as it stands?
As far as the bill being signed to release the those files, who knows? You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
all I can say. Only time will tell. So that's how I feel about that. Um, and in the middle of that, Ms. Kim says Kankles said he signed the bill. Usually, when he signs a bill, he makes a complete spectacle. I think he's lying.
Ooh, that
Hey,
could
it's a
be it.
possibility. And she also says Bubba is Ghislaine Maxwell's horse. Why didn't you bring? You didn't know that. Okay, so yeah, people are saying, well, if Bubba isn't the former president, then who is that? Like, yeah, they said that is that horse.
Okay. Wow. So that must be
Either way, it's crazy. It's disgusting. But I'm gonna do what I saw somebody on TikTok do, and they said just like the MAGA people choose to believe what they want to believe, I will choose to believe that it was Bill Clinton, and that's what I
exactly.
choose, and I will continue to choose that. That's what I believe, and I'm gonna stick with that. Anything else is irrelevant to me.
Absolutely.
That's what I believe.
I feel the exact same way, Jennifer. It sounds like it's probably true. Like it sounds like it's the truth to me. Like to my ears, it sounds like it's extremely
Yeah,
possible.
it sounds valid to me, and it's going to remain that in my brain
Until it's proven otherwise. Absolutely.
to be honest. I'm not concerned whether or not it's proven otherwise. That's the story that Jennifer heard, and Jennifer's going to stick to that one. As far as MGT, that's her name. Oh, what's her name?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie. As far as her character is what she doesn't have. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
integrity.
Hmm.
The person that you present yourself as in the beginning needs to be the same person that you present yourself as later on as you're trying to become somebody's senator. So she has a loud voice. People are listening for her voice. And I believe once she started seeing the writings on the wall, that's when she started to softly move until it became loud.
Yeah.
I don't give her any credit for any of that because she's not stupid.
She knows better.
Exactly. She's not stupid. She's making the moves that she needs to be made so people can know who she is. She'll be a big name.
Mm-hmm.
And she did that with Trump because he was a winner. So I'm going to connect myself with him as much as possible so that people can see us as, one and the same. So when they're voting for him, they're voting for me too, right?
Right.
Because he's winning. When she saw the writings on the wall, the things that's happening and not happening, I need to make a move. I'm starting to
Yeah.
look crazy in this. I'm going to
Right.
go ahead and make this move. And I'm going to attach myself in these ways. And for you to go from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum, that shows me that you'll move with any breeze. And
Mhm.
that's like a fair weather friend, a fair weather politician. That's dangerous. And for anybody, like, yeah, I like what she's saying. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
And it makes sense. I like what you're saying, but no, I will forever hold her past against her. If you felt so free to speak that way before and seemed like you were all here for January 6th and all that stuff and what was going on back then you have no credit. She she
Absolutely.
she has on the credit scale for Jennifer McCullum, she's at 0. If there was a negative possibility, she would have it.
Yeah.
And once again, just because you're saying all the right things now doesn't mean you knew the right things to say before then either. She
That's
wanted to
very true.
win. And she said what she needed to say to win. And if you're just saying what you need to say to win, then no, these aren't your true beliefs.
Right. And now I don't know exactly what she believes. I don't know. I think the only side that she's on
But
is
we
her
never
side.
will.
Right. Exactly.
We won't know because she's just giving us what she feels, what she thinks that we want to hear. So no, she's spineless.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do agree with that, Jennifer. I do agree. And she was even on The View last week. Like, I was shocked that she went on The View, but of course, she's trying to make a statement. She's
She's
really
trying
trying
to
to
be
make a statement.
seen. And
Yeah.
like I said, she's a representative now. She's trying to be, you know,
In the Senate.
Senate. She's trying to be governor. She's trying to because you got to straddle that line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna discredit the meticulous look, the way that she's doing it and all that stuff, because yeah, she's doing it. But no, as an African American woman, I don't what Beyonce says, flip flopping A word, B word. That's what that is. And I would not put my values in her hands. Cause who knows who she gonna be in another 2 years. If she was able to change like that and just in the year of 2025, she changed her tune. All right.
Absolutely. While you were talking, Jennifer, I just thought of Stacey Abrams, and I
Mhm.
was thinking, like, what would she be saying in this moment? Like, what would her rhetoric be at this point? I would really love to hear what she would say in a moment like this. But okay, it is what it is.
I think it'd be more of like we just need to open our eyes and see what she's doing.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we know people like that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We all know somebody like that. That's one way one day, and then the next it's like, okay, so who are you then? Where do you stand? And I need to know that you're on the Lord's side or not. Where do you stand? I want to know.
Okay, because I'll tell you one thing. I'm Team Jesus. Okay, Team Soldiers for Christ. If you
Right
ain't
here.
know, honey.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, she it's cute, but nice try, sis.
Yeah. Yeah. We got any comments before we move on, Jennifer?
No, ma'am. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So BravoCon took place this past week.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, Wendy Osefo showed up. I was not expecting her to be there whatsoever, but she did show up. A moderator did ask her a question concerning the charges. She said that she could not speak on it because it's an ongoing investigation, but they will be fighting these charges. Also, Ashley tried to apologize to Wendy for Ashley's comments after the announcement of the charges placed against Wendy Osefo and her husband, Eddie. But Wendy did not take it whatsoever. And I don't blame Wendy because, we
Okay.
know why Ashley did it. She did it for a click and a view.
Come on.
She wanted to, look popular and, look like she's a good woman. Child, I'm over Ashley. But a little bit after BravoCon came out, prosecutors claim Wendy and Eddie allegedly used 40 different debit and credit cards under alias names, Pam Oliver and Eddie Hennessy. The amount of debt owed by the Osefos is highly relevant to their motive. The sinkhole just gets deeper and deeper, and her slip is all the way out. Like she ain't even got a dress on over the slip. Like we all see it, and it makes me think of everyone who's trying to do it on their own, everyone who's trying to get it out the mud, everyone who's trying to do it legitly. Because there's so many people out here who are scamming and frauding and things of that nature. And it's I'm still sad that Wendy has done this. I'm not sad that it happened to her because her actions have caused for these charges to be brought up against her. But I'm just sad that it is happening in general because Wendy has been my favorite housewife since I started watching Housewives of Potomac. But the evidence is getting bigger and bigger against Wendy and Eddie. I can only assume, since Wendy's continuously saying that they're going to fight these charges, I can only assume that they're going to take this case to trial. But if the prosecutors have all this evidence that we know about, I'm sure that there's plenty more that we don't even know about at all. And I have a feeling that if they take this to trial, they're going to be found guilty and they will both be serving time. And I don't want to see that happen to Wendy and Eddie. So, service announcement: Wendy and Eddie, just plead guilty. Just plead guilty, because based on the evidence that I've seen, it looks as if you are both guilty. Jennifer, did you hear about these 40 credit cards and debit cards under aliases Pam Oliver and Eddie Hennessy of all names? Like, what were your thoughts when you heard this?
Well, first of all, I do believe they should fight. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Just have your day in court. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know how things can turn out when you do have your time in court.
that's true.
So I do believe they should fight. Um, Personally, it was when I saw it, I was like, well, this isn't help.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't assisting the moment, the time. So, yeah, God bless him, man. That I guess that'll be all right eventually. Miss Kim says, I'm done with Wendy and Eddie after the latest news. She says Wendy was enough on her own. She had so much going for herself.
She did.
It wasn't pain enough.
No.
She's going to fight air quotes uh these charges until they can make a plea deal. I agree. Because when you have a situation like this, things look as bad as it does, it's best that you do fight
Yeah.
because yeah, just try your best, see what you can do.
Yeah, because you never know what happens if you fight it. The only risk you take by fighting it is, a plea deal is probably going to give you less time than a conviction would. But hey, if you fight it, the charges, could be could be found not guilty, and the charges just go away as if you never charged to begin with. So you
Absolutely.
never know. It's always a toss up. But speaking of thievery, in the Housewives of Potomac, a former housewife, Mia Thornton, was arrested at the airport yesterday,
Oh.
arrested for larceny. She had allegedly stolen $11,000 worth of furniture from a apartment that she was renting.
More than likely
And
a furnished
a
apartment.
furnished apartment, exactly. And just like Ashley was talking about Wendy when her charges were revealed, Mia had her things to say. Now, Mia wasn't saying anything too bad. I wouldn't say that she was saying anything too bad, but she was just saying that she was surprised that this came from Dr. Wendy of all people. So I understand why she felt like she maybe had to say something, because people would probably want to know what she would say, since her and Wendy did
Mhm.
not have the best of relationships during their tenure on the show. But what this makes me think about, Jennifer, when I'm reading all these stories about this fraud and theft from these housewives, is I think about the children. I
Mm.
think about the children. And first of all, where are Mia's kids while this is going on?
Where?
I'm sure Wendy and Eddie's kids are at home, maybe with Wendy's mother, who knows who's watching the kids. Jen Shaw, like I don't know if she had kids or not, but the first thought that comes to my mind is what about the kids? And the kids are old enough to where when they go to school, their friends and maybe enemies of theirs will be talking to them, asking them questions like, what happened with your parents? Like, what's going on? All this stuff is in the news. And also it's like, what are the living conditions for these children? I mean, yes, we see where you live on television while you're filming, but what is really going on in these people's lives? It's like, not that it's any of my business, but that's the first thing that came to my mind when I was reviewing the topics for today. Like, what about the kids? I believe Mia and Gordon have two kids, if I'm not mistaken, a boy and a girl, possibly three. I can't say for sure, but I just feel so sad for them. I really do, because
Mm.
their situations just seem unsecure to me. Um, Extremely unsecure, not secure, and I don't want to say possibly not safe, because I'm sure that they wouldn't want anything bad to happen to their children, and I'm sure that they would protect them at all costs. But that's what I'm thinking. But Jennifer, what were your thoughts when you heard the story of Mia being arrested at the airport? Apparently, Gordon was with her, but I think he actually made it onto the flight. I can't say for sure, but what were your thoughts when you heard this? Because the Wendy thing, I expected that to come from Mia. I did not expect that to come from Wendy. So, what were you thinking when you heard the story?
Well, you said it. Like, now, when I heard what was stolen and how much worth it was stolen, I was like, yeah. I automatically said to myself, she did that.
Yeah,
There's no like, oh no, maybe no. Cause it's like with Wendy, it's like when you put yourself off to be something else different and you have the accolades, it's like, why would you do that? But with Mia, she ain't got nothing. Not saying that she ain't nobody, because we all are somebody. But
right.
we know she ain't got that. So
Okay.
yeah, hearing about that was not a surprise unto me at all. I was like, well then.
I would say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost, honey. I mean, it's the it's that's it. That's it. Anyways, next story is NFL star Stephon Diggs has filed a defamation lawsuit against influencer Christopher Griffith
Mm-hmm.
for the SA allegations. I was talking to my loctician about this when I was getting my hair done this past Tuesday,
Okay.
and initially my loctician said that he believed what was coming out of this young man's mouth concerning Stephon Diggs. And I had to tell my loctician, look at here. This young man went on Tasha K's show to reveal this alleged assault that happened to him. Now, there are so many other publications that he could have chosen. He didn't go to the Shade Room because a lot of times the Shade Room doesn't post something unless they actually have concrete facts that it actually happened. They might, report the allegations in a certain way, but out of all people, you went to Tasha K. I don't believe the young man's side of what actually happened. I don't know if this man even met Stephon Diggs, but the fact that Stephon Diggs is using his own money to file a defamation lawsuit against this young man. I'm not sure exactly what amount of money he's looking for, but I'm so glad that Stephon Diggs is using his power and using himself just to defend himself against these allegations. Of course, these allegations were made about, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago, but it just came back up recently. So a lot of people started talking about it again. But me personally, I don't believe the young man's allegations, Mr. Griffin's allegations. I don't believe any of that is true whatsoever. I'm not sure if Stephon Diggs is attracted to the same sex or not. To be honest, I really don't care. But if I were to guess, I would not believe that he is. But I feel as though if he is, I'm sure Cardi B knows that information, and if he's shared that with her, then that's all that matters. But I'm so glad that he's filed this defamation lawsuit against Mr. Griffin. Jennifer, were you surprised to see that he filed this lawsuit against this young man?
I was pleased to see it. Okay.
Right.
Personally, it's like, okay, I heard of the allegations and people were really talking about him as if those are one of the things that kind of slowed me down from thinking that he's all right for Cardi B. So, one thing I remembered about it though is that it never went to court. It never went to civil court. It never went to, you know what I'm saying?
You decided to tell Tasha K and not the authorities.
We
Okay.
didn't call the police.
Right.
And we didn't sue him for anything with the situation, which means you don't really have, if it happened, you don't have proof. But even then, it's like, how much proof do you need for, something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I never believed it. And now afterwards, when he did go to Tasha K to tell his, I'll use it loosely, story, I was like, well, there goes all your credibility out the window right there. What little bit you might have thought you might have had is not here. So yes, no, I didn't believe it. And I bet you that Cardi B might have encouraged him to go ahead and sue.
Absolutely. I would not be surprised if that were the case.
Because those kind of lies are just like, it's damaging.
Very much so. Absolutely.
So yeah.
Alleging assault, like that can ruin someone's reputation, especially with him still being an active player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Currently, like they don't play about that stuff. Like they don't play about drugs. They don't play about assault. They don't play about physical. They don't play about none of that. So I'm so glad that, and I think you are exactly right, Jennifer. I'm sure Cardi B did encourage him to file that lawsuit for sure.
And something tells me behind the scenes, the people on the NFL, that's with him or whatever, something tells me that they knew that it was a lie.
Yeah.
Because he didn't get in trouble necessarily for any of that. So It's like, you know what? He might have been able to prove like, hey, he has no proof. He's just talking. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Ms. Kim says the reality housewife shows have created a crew of monsters. They have turned regular women into celebrities in their mind, and they are being hit with the consequences of their actions. And to be honest, that whole celebrity status that they put in their mind, unfortunately, the money isn't meeting the celebrity status, and it's like you got to do what you got to do. Well, they feel as if they got to do what they got to do to make it there. Something tells me Wendy don't want to work. She want to be like them, them girls that be outside, not working, being taken care of. But apparently, Eddie ain't got that kind of money to just take care of her the way that she wants to be taken care of. And it's not like you gonna leave your husband because he ain't got that much money, the father of your children.
Because I sure wouldn't leave no happy Eddie child, that man.
Okay, so now I need to commit fraud, allegedly. So it's sad. It's sad.
It is. It is very sad. So an update on a story that I talked about, or we talked about a couple of months ago. A male worker claims that Smokey Robinson tried to force him to touch his nether regions that were also says the singer grabbed him while half naked. I don't know where I stand with this, to be honest. I can't say whether I believe these allegations because there were some other people that worked for Smokey Robinson a couple of months ago that were alleging some similar accusations towards him. I don't want to say whether I believe it or not. I don't know if that's due to his age. When we initially talked about it, I mentioned the fact that his gyrating on the stage makes it seem like he might be the type that might do something like that. But at the same time, I don't know. Like I believe Smokey Robinson is in his 70s and is in his late 70s. I'm not sure exactly how old Smokey Robinson is.
Late 70s. I think he's. Let me Google.
Go ahead and Google.
Ain't no way.
But at the same time, you can't put something past someone just because of their older age.
He's 85 years old.
85 years old.
When I heard 70s, ain't no way. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, like this is saddening to me. I'm not sure. To me, it does not seem like these are tarnishing his reputation necessarily. I don't hear too many people talking about it outside of myself and the blogs. People aren't doing like videos on YouTube about it or anything of that nature. But it is alarming to hear more than one allegation because a lot of times when there's more than one allegation, it gives the sense of a pattern of someone's behavior, which leads more people to believe that is more than likely true than not true. Jennifer, any thoughts on this story coming out?
Yo, I truly feel like, wait, what were you talking about?
Smokey Robinson, a male
Yeah,
worker.
let me tell you something. I don't believe it.
Okay. Okay.
The reason why I wholeheartedly say that is because there's a chance that he might have done it before, but if he's 85 right now, do you think this is his first time really, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or it is a possibility it is the first time somebody's speaking out on it, but I promise I don't believe right now. Yeah, I don't see it.
And we
85?
hadn't really heard anything about this prior to the first allegations being put out a couple of months ago. And as old as he is now, we probably would have heard something of that nature coming out way before now, especially when he was younger. It probably would have been told in, unsung maybe, or of some older artists talking about how Smokey Robinson would deal and do things.
Because
So,
after all these years, people would have been telling their stories a long time ago.
right,
I don't know. This is not something that somebody just starts, wanting to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
yeah, Imma start being a perv. Like, come on. Miss Kim says, "I'll happily take Eddie off her hands." End of
Okay, Miss Kim. Okay, the smile on that man and that mugshot, even though he did look like he was the highest of the high in
But
the
hey,
heavens, honey. That man. Oh my goodness, that is a good looking man, honey. A good looking man. Anyways, any more comments before we move on, Jennifer?
uh,
So, in other housewife news, Miss Portia Williams, she
ugh,
was heading home back from BravoCon and apparently got into somewhat of an altercation, not necessarily physical altercation, but verbal altercation with someone who she was riding on the plane with. Apparently, the other passenger felt like she was playing what she was watching on her cell phone a little bit too loud. And, Portia was like, why are you talking to me like this? And, all this good stuff. And we know what Portia is known for. And Portia's known to get a little bit physical every now and then. So the woman did allege that Portia did hit her, but, some other witnesses said that was not true. So I'm not exactly sure what's completely true in that particular situation. But it didn't surprise me whatsoever that Portia's getting into it with random people while she's on the plane, and I think it's sad. I don't even believe that passenger knew who Portia was. I highly doubt that she knew who Portia
did you
was.
see her?
No, when I saw the video, the woman's face was blurred.
But did you see, like, she's a Caucasian, look like she's
Oh,
late.
elder white woman,
Yeah, it's like,
absolutely.
there's a big old chance she don't know her from a can of paint.
Right, exactly. But I don't know because I can only assume that Portia might have been in first class, maybe. And so I don't know if this woman possibly had an issue with, Portia being black. I don't know. I don't want to make it a race thing, but that possibly could be an issue. Who knows? But if someone is playing their music loud in my vicinity, especially on a plane, I would be tempted to say something about it, but at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't say anything about it. I'll just turn my music up in my headphones or in my Bluetooth or whatever the case might be. But Portia has a tendency to get into it with people. And I don't know if she's going to address that issue. I doubt that she will address
Oh,
that
so
issue.
she gonna have to, she might have to address it in court.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people are saying that the FBI is investigating her concerning this particular incident that happened on a Delta flight.
Well, the
So
reason why, they might have to get involved is because I think they were in the air when that was happening, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
That's
I believe
why
they were in the air. So
they had to have jurisdiction for that.
yeah, so it's I wasn't surprised though, because like I said, this is Portia's MO, to getting
Ooh.
in altercations with other people. So Jennifer, were you surprised at all by the story coming out about Portia getting into it with some older woman on a frame?
Surprise, no. It's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah,
Um, but it's like Miss Kim said, Portia is so uncool.
for no class.
And it's like, ma'am, you're way too old for this.
Way too old for this.
And it's like, I'm not trying to say there's no way that people would have issues or, stuff like that, but like seriously though, like you got to find a way, you know?
Yeah,
Um
you got to do better.
absolutely have to do better. I agree.
For sure. So something else that happened earlier this week, while Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande were on the red carpet, I believe for Wicked for Good, I believe is
Mhm.
the name of the second part of the Wicked movie.
It is.
It seemed to be a premiere, and some man rushed to try to get to Ariana Grande, and Cynthia Erivo, took action because security did not seem to be like they were on the job. Like I'm not trying to say that they was being lazy or whatever the case might be, but as far as I know, security is supposed to be on the lookout. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to be, looking at all the surroundings, looking at everything that's happening. They're supposed to be able to jump, like Julius with Beyonce. Julius got it down pat, got the thing handle. You know what I'm saying? But security didn't seem to be doing what they were supposed to be doing. So Cynthia Erivo, quickly tried to get in his way, tried to, block him from being able to get to Ariana. And I think it's beautiful to see the friendship that has evolved between Ariana and Cynthia Erivo. I think it's great that they've become friends through this process of Wicked. But the young man who tried to rush Ariana Grande, he was sentenced to 9 days in jail. I honestly think he should have been sentenced to more than that.
Well,
Trying
the
to
country that they were in, I doubt that they
Yeah, that is true. A lot of times, criminal justice is not as harsh as in other countries as it is here in America. To be
and
honest, I think
he sure wouldn't have gotten sentenced that fast either.
exactly because was there a trial? Did he just plead guilty? Like who knows what that entire
Exactly.
process was? But we've seen things like this before, not too often, where people who are possibly not in the right mind doing random things to celebrities. Like Jennifer, what were your thoughts when you saw the video, and how did this make you feel about Cynthia? If it changed your mind about her at all?
Why you said if it changed your mind about her?
Because of the things that Cynthia has said in the past concerning the
Uh-huh.
African American community that you have seemed to take issue with. I don't know if this possibly allowed you to see Cynthia in a brighter light, in a better
Oh,
way.
Jonathan, think about it. She said things about the African American community because she did not have knowledge of the African American community, just like a lot of people where she's from,
Right.
they don't have, but they like to speak loudly about what they don't know.
Exactly.
Her saving a lily white, okay, I can't say lily white.
I knew you were going there. I knew you were going there. Go ahead, girl.
Her trying to save her does not change anything for me and how I feel about her. Peace and blessings. Um, now one thing I will always say, just let me make sure I say this in the same breath. I will always say she's very talented. She's doing her thing, and it's very great that she's doing. She just don't know about some things. That's all.
Right.
I doesn't mean I hate her. Um, but one thing I will have to say is it's kind of weird that she's the one that had to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Very weird. Very
And to be
weird.
honest, I think it's just a black woman thing. Though she may not be from these parts,
Mhm.
it's I think it's just a black person thing, where you basically try to help your friends. You know what I'm
Be
saying?
protective. Yeah, we're very
Yeah,
protective. Yeah.
and it's like it really is crazy. You got bodyguards all around these. It was like it was three of them that were in the
Mhm.
movie that was together walking hand in hand over there. Um, and she had to do that. So that was really weird for me. Um, some people are saying that, they're kind of concerned about Ariana trying to, put off this whole, like I could snap like like a twig, you know what I'm saying? Save me. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? It's like it makes you wonder just a little bit. Miss Kim says Cynthia Erivo is doing too much. She's a whole weirdo.
Yeah.
Some people are actually thinking that they might be in relationship. Those two.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. I thought Ariana had a boyfriend and he was in Wicked.
child, you're not keeping up.
Okay.
They're
I
they're
don't
not,
pay much attention to Ariana Grande, to be
and
honest.
it's apparent,
Okay.
but
Clearly.
no, they're not together anymore.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Cool beans. So something interesting happened this week. Ambassador Mike Waltz thanked Nicki Minaj
Oh, child.
for using her platform and standing with him in the United Nations to discuss the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. I also saw a clip of Nicki Minaj's speech during that particular event. She also thanked President Trump. She's also thanked President Trump in tweets. Say I can't remember exactly what she was referring to when she tweeted about President Trump, but I want to say that I'm confused. Not to say that that's not a great cause to speak on. Literally, I have no idea what's going on in Nigeria concerning Christians. I have no idea about it. I probably should have done a little bit of research on that before coming on live, but I don't know what's happening in Nigeria concerning Christians at this moment. So it sounds like a great cause to me. And if that is actually happening right now, then yes, I don't blame Nikki for using her platform and using her standing with Mr. Waltz in the United Nations to speak on this issue. However, I kind of doubt that she's doing this out of the kindness of her heart. I have a feeling that there's some type of motive going on here. Because if I'm not mistaken, Nikki is from Trinidad and Tobago. So I don't know what roots she necessarily has with Nigeria. I don't know what caused her to make this decision to speak, on behalf of those in Nigeria being persecuted as Christians, but it's kind of confusing to me. I don't know what to make of it. Jennifer, you had quite a reaction when I brought up this topic. So what do you have to say?
It's apparent there's a lot you don't know about this.
Yeah.
um. So, first of all, Miss Kim says Nicki Minaj is another weirdo.
She is.
Um, the reason why she's become weirdo classified is because she's hopping on the MAGA train these days, Jonathan.
Yeah.
So, at this point, she's really just saying anything and everything to make her more palatable to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And her speaking, she knew about as much about the issues over there as you knew about this story, Jonathan.
Right.
So for her to speak and stuff like that, the only thing that I could think about was how much money did she get paid to do this? Because Lord knows she needed it.
Yeah.
So yes, it's just foolishness, to be honest, not worth talking about in my opinion.
Okay, understood. So earlier this week, Michelle Obama was interviewed by Tracy Ellis Ross,
Mhm.
and Michelle Obama said that the U.S. is not ready for a woman president. She
Mhm.
said, "Don't even look at me about running because you all are lying. You're
Okay.
not ready for a woman." And I do agree with Michelle Obama because I feel as though
Wholeheartedly.
if the atmosphere were right for her to choose to run, I'm sure Michelle would, because Michelle was extremely popular throughout both of Barack Obama's terms in presidency. And
Even
so,
now.
exactly. And a lot of people were asking her to run for president. But I think Michelle is a realist. I think Michelle keeps her ears to the street. Michelle knows exactly what's going. Hell, Michelle Obama watches Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, child. But Michelle knows what's up, honey. Okay, but Michelle Obama loves Mama D. Okay, we know Michelle knows what's going on in these streets. I do think it's very sad that to me personally, I don't believe that we will see a woman president anytime soon. I
Mm-mm.
don't want to say in our lifetime because I think anything is possible as far as that's concerned, but I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. And I do agree with Michelle in that with the fact that this country is where it is now, and the fact that a man like Donald Trump was elected president, who is completely the opposite of a feminist, the opposite of someone who supports women in general, and so many millions of people decided to vote for him anyways, leads me to believe that more than likely a woman president is probably not going to be happening anytime soon. But I'm so glad that Michelle brought this up because that's something that a lot of people are not talking about, and I think it's something that people don't want to talk about because of the truth of the matter is that America is not ready for a woman president. Like women won't even vote for a woman president because there are a lot of women out here who feel as though a woman would not be right for that job. I'm not saying most women. I'm saying there are a lot of women out there who don't believe that they would be ready to vote for a woman to be president of the United States. Jennifer, what are your thoughts on this particular discussion?
Michelle was right, and it was proven with with Kamala. You know,
Hmm.
I don't care how many times people say, "Yeah, yeah, she needs to run." Like, no, you have shown us that that's just not the case. So, no, why would I
Right,
put myself through that? And another thing about Michelle, I truly do believe that um, she values her peace, and being up in that White House was not a place of peace, as you can see, for her.
right,
So, no, is a no. Um, Ms. Kim says people voted for a convicted felon over an intelligent, well spoken, poised, and accomplished Black woman. Michelle knows what's up.
exactly, exactly. So it is what it is. So let's get to this last topic, and it might seem like a throwaway, but I just thought it was very interesting.
Mhm.
Ray J was at Ray J was at someone's radio station, and Ray J said the following: Mario doesn't want to see him in a one-on-one singing battle. I'm calling him out. Ray J, I don't know if you were under some type of influence when you made these
It's
statements,
apparent.
because something tells me that you are not sober currently. Something tells me that you may be consistently on a high. But although I don't doubt your singing abilities, I'm sure you can sing when you want to, possibly. Maybe in certain at certain times, maybe when you've done a little bit of vocal training, maybe when you've done your warm ups, maybe you might, because I haven't heard him hit them one wish notes in the longest, honey. But Jennifer, you rose your hand. What were we going to say?
He wanted to sing at that versus.
He wanted to sing at that verses, and he had the microphone in his hand, and he was doing possibly what he thought was his best. But it did not sound like his best, I would say. Um, because Ray J doesn't have the most vast category or I'm sorry, the most vast discography. There's really not much for me to judge his singing skills off of. I think he sounded great in "Wait a Minute." He sounded okay in "One Wish." To be honest, I never really liked that "One Wish" song. That's just the honest truth, as far as I'm concerned. I've never liked that song, but I've heard a lot more of what Mario has to offer as far as his vocal abilities are
Yeah.
concerned. And Ray J, I don't know if you want to see Mario in a singing battle, because the way he sang at that verses, telling Omarion, no, it's done like this. Or whomever he told. I don't know if he told Omarion or Ray J.
I think it was Omarion because
Yeah.
Omarion's another person that's under the impression that they could sing. Go ahead.
And so, it's Ray J, like, I don't know if he does these things for clout, makes these statements for clout. I don't know if he's just doing this for a click and a view, or if he really does believe these things. Like, Ray J is showing to me that has a little bit of Kanye West in him at this point. Like he's might be going off the rocker a little bit. I'm worried about Ray J. Jennifer, what are your thoughts on this
I'm worried about
potential?
Ray J. Let me tell you something. Ray J just be talking. That's how I feel at this point.
For real.
None of his words have merit, and for him to have the gall to say that he can basically not okay. I think he was just saying vocally, but if he's talking about a versus, that's stupid too. You know what I'm
It's
saying? That's
real
beyond
stupid.
stupid. You need a discography to be able to do a verse because you need song after song. We ain't gonna play your whole album that nobody knew nothing about.
Because I'm
We don't
sure
know
he
your
released
album
the
cuts.
album, but I don't even know what that album would have been called.
Yeah, was it Rejuvenation? Radiation? I think Radiation.
Okay.
I think that
Okay.
was an album of his. But either way, I didn't listen past Wait a Minute. And
Me either.
One Wish wasn't a wish of mine. So if we're talking about singing, you need to sit down as well as with the discography for a versus. You need to have a whole entire seat because it's a no. And though Mario may have just a little bit of negative publicity.
Especially after him telling that videographer to get the F off his stage at that
That's
fair
the
that he was
negative.
performing at.
That's
Child.
the negative one.
Right.
Yeah, no. It's a no. It's a solid no. He still sing better than you, sir. Miss Kim
On
says
his worst day, more than likely.
exactly. Miss Kim says that he doesn't have enough song for a verse. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have the discography for it. So what are we talking about here? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Oh.
To me, sometimes the things that he says are funny to me. Like I'll get a good laugh at some of the things that he will say. But because I don't think he's serious with anything. Like excuse me, the fact that he has a girlfriend, but then he's always saying that he still loves Princess Love, and they're still in love, and they've been getting a divorce for the last 10 seasons of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. So it's like I don't expect anything out of him these days. Nothing.
Miss Kim says Ray J's vocals have packed up and flown the coop forever.
Okay.
And just like even thinking about his voice, you want to think like, well, how did he sound before? And that still wasn't the best.
No. I mean, he can hold a note. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Like he can sing for sure. There's no doubt that he can sing. He didn't have a record. I don't know if he had a record contract, but he didn't get signed for nothing. But like, do we want to hear it? That's
It's the hearing part.
best question. Because you might be able to do it, but do we want to listen?
Oh, hey, Mamir.
Hey, Mamir. So glad you're here, girl. That's all we got for this show, Jennifer. Go ahead and give the people your social media contacts real quick for me, love.
Sure, if I can find them.
Oh yeah, have you updated them on here yet?
No, I didn't update. I think it was Tyrone that did it. I am Prophetic Fire Reiki. Go ahead and follow me on TikTok, Instagram, as well as here on YouTube. I go live at 8 p.m. every single Monday. It's no longer a decompress. We're gonna have to change because Jennifer's life is looking up. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to change that. Already have though. But anywho, please follow me and see me live 8 p.m. every single Monday.
Also join us on Saturday mornings at 10-ish a.m. for Faithful Warrior Ministries. We go live every Saturday morning. Did I say Saturday? Every Saturday morning at 10-ish a.m. to come together, read a devotional, and go into prayer. And do a little bit of chit-chatting as well. So join us on Saturdays, 10-ish a.m. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is williamjonathanlee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $Jonathan Lee 07. That's $JONATHANLEE 07. Thank y'all so much for joining us, Dustin, Ms. Kim, and Mamir. Thank y'all so much for being here with us tonight. Love you guys for watching. Be sure to join myself and Dustin on Monday for our 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After Tell All Part 3 review this coming Monday, as well as joining us next week, same time, same place, same beautiful faces for our next Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. Love you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, an awesome weekend, and stay warm out there because it's cold outside the door. Love y'all for watching. Bye, guys.